We've got ourselves a misty night here on the east side of Providence. A trophy on the line. The Ocean State Cup will be contested tonight as Bryant and Brown will take the field in a renewal of a great in-state rivalry. And no, Mother Nature cannot dampen the spirits of neither the fans nor the players. For Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday evening. There's the hardware on the line, and if Bryant's Mark O'Rourke has anything to say about it, Mike, he's going to be bringing that back to North Smithfield. And let's face it, heading back up because he is one of the best attackers the Bryant Bulldogs have ever had.
Absolutely. The 6-foot senior from Hingham, Massachusetts, currently leading the team with 39 goals, 14 assists on the season, is their all-time leader in goals with 151 for his career. Second all-time in points, just behind Tucker James with 212. Currently ranking number 1 in goals per game in the NEC, 9th in assists per game, and 2nd in points per game. 13 goals in his last 2 games, including a school record 9 against Sacred Heart and an additional 4 against Mount St. Mary's. Definitely a shifty attackman with a quick trigger and lethal finishing skills.
Well, if he's got the top 2 individual single-game goal performances on one end, the Bears have one of the hottest goaltenders in the country on the other.
Yeah, recently referred to as the people's goalie by Brown All-American Larkin Kemp and others. He swept the Ivy League Player and Rookie of the Week honors after making 24 saves in the Bears' win over Cornell last weekend. A goals against of 1148 and a save percentage of .549. And according to Coach Daly, he's been able to flourish in any situation that they've put him in this season. And, last week's performance left people wondering, what's the difference between Terrio and a brick wall? Well, a brick wall gives up rebounds. I'm thinking another 15-save performance may be necessary for the Bears to take back the Ocean State Cup tonight. Special.
Well, there's the look at the conditions here. It's going to be a wet one. There's some heavier rain showers that are due in across the region sometime later tonight. I saw probably around 9 to 10 o'clock, so hopefully we'll be well on our way out of here by then as the Bears and Bulldogs take the field. The Bears will be wearing the home whites, brown numerals, red trim. The Bulldogs, the road blacks with gold numerals and gold and white trim. And we'll take a look at the starting lineups, Mike, beginning with the visitors from Bryant, who are poised, Mike, for a run into their final NEC tournament.
Well, Tuesday night is always for the Hunter. The Bulldogs looking to take down the 5th-ranked Bears. In between the pipes, it'll be Luke Caracciolo, the junior from Centerville, Virginia. In front of him, it'll be Logan McGovern, Mark O'Rourke, Kevin Gruninger, Beninda Bladian, Drew Lucas, Timmy Hackett, Aiden Goltz, Brody Rule, and Tanner Alexander rounding out the starting 10 for head coach Mike Pressler, now in his 16th season at the helm of the Bulldogs.
And on the other side, Mike, the Bears, no real surprises in the starting lineup. And the one good thing about this Bryant team, well, there's no Massa taking the face-off.
Yeah, that certainly is a good thing. However, they do have a great face-off man in Jacob Alexander. We'll start in between the pipes for the Bears. Connor Terrio in front of him. George Grell, Andrew Geppert, Luke Gatos, Brian Antonelli, Silas Newsom, Trevor Glavin, Devin McLean, Ryan Ogevin, and Nolan Rockefeller all take the field for head coach Mike Daly in his 6th year at the helm of the Bears.
And just like that, the Bears win the opening face-off after what looked to be a little bit of a shove on Matt Gunty, but the Bears will go to work with Reed Moschetti. Had a pretty fine game the other day against Cornell. Back up top for Ogevin. Tries to roll to his left and fires a shot through and scores on the run. As we've said so often about Ogevin's game, Mike, when those hands get free, he is dangerous.
Yeah, one of the Bears' most deadliest shooters on the run. That's goal number 22 on the season for him. A nice quick start for the Bears, just 30 seconds in. Bears got off to a fantastic start against Cornell as well. They led 6-0 after the first quarter and never looked back in that one.
The Bears have ascended all the way to number 5 in the media poll. RPI now, there are 4 Ivy League teams ranked in the top 9, and the Bears will win a second faceoff on the violation.
Yeah, so maybe Jacob Alexander a little bit jittery. He comes in winning faceoffs at a 57% rate, which is good for 19th in the nation, with the Bears taking the first 2 here on that faceoff dot.
Pike was watched by Zach Lanou. On the ball now for Brown is Devin McLean. Griffin King, he'll wait for Reed Moschetti to sub off for George Pike. And now here's Moschetti out about halfway between the restraining line and midfield. Gets a head full of steam, fires a shot. That one saved by the goaltender Caracciolo, and the Bulldogs will attempt to clear.
Yeah, good save that time. Maybe telegraphed a little bit that Machete was going to go low. Caracciolo was down waiting for it. First save of the night for him. He had a great game against Mount St. Mary's over the weekend. 11 saves while giving up just 7 in the Bulldogs' 14-7 victory down in Maryland.
Bulldogs get Hackett and now Greninger in for the midfield crew. Watching him is Hart, charging to the near side, trying to turn. Thought about the shot. Back up top, Greninger will reverse it over to the left side, where it's going to be played there by Drabzinski, and he drives a shot. It's saved by Theriault. Check that. It was Aiden Gotts on the shot, and Theriault, after 24 saves against Cornell, with his first stop of the night today.
Yeah, gobbles that one right up. Shooting on the run was Goltz, but then the Bears turn it over. Bears usually one of the better clearing teams. In fact, the best clearing team in the Ivy League. So rare miscue there.
Silas Newsom, just the plain as day pickoff by Abladian. And the Bulldogs will reset their attack, trailing by a goal here in the early goings from Stevenson-Pinsent's Field. Sam Goforth will drop it down to the near side of the box, down toward the corner, working his way across. Big screen behind the net. The ball comes around to O'Rourke, trying to shoot on the run, was watched by Andrew Geppert, who's been one of the Bears' better shut-down short defenders.
Close defender.
Close defender, sorry. Got like long pole and short stick. And another drive, that one easily saved.
Yeah, O'Rourke, a shifty little guy out there. Very quick on the trigger. He'll fire in a lot of shots. Averages about 11 per game that time, though. Keeping it high to high, and Theriault waiting for it. Save number 2 already for him.
YBK, that's Trevor Yaboa Cody. TYK, what did I just call him? YBK? Good Lord. Need to get the caffeine going here. Ball turned near side. Kelly thought about winding up. Good feet across, behind the back, and what a finish for Glavin. Oh, my, it's 2-0 Brown.
Oh, my, what a finish indeed. I believe that was actually Devin McLean, the BTB. What a feed, though. Jack Kelly across, and there it is. Sniping it home. Devin McLean continues his fine form here in 2022. Welcome to the 40 Club, McLean. Goal number 40 on the season, and point number 60.
What a feed across, and Devin McLean with the finish to make it 2-0 as Gunty wins another faceoff. Geppert back for Pike, and he will work across midfield. The Bears trying to roll out on a run here to start. Bull dodge there for Pike, gets inside, drives a shot off the pipe, and it'll be backed up as hustling over was Tanner Alexander. Nice move there by Pike, but just couldn't get the finish through, Mike.
Yeah, good dodge, just a little bit unlucky catching the outside of the pipe. But I tell you what, Bryant's going to be in some serious trouble today if the Bears keep winning as many faceoffs as they've won so far.
The feed, the shot, another stop by Theriault, this time on the Logan McGovern shot. Ball on the ground, picked up by the Bears, and trying to reverse is Ryan Behrens down to the near corner. He'll turn it around out of traffic. Geppert for Pike, and here comes Brown with the clear.
Well, the People's goalie coming up big once again. 3 saves already in the opening 4 minutes tonight.
Here's Griffin, King, Moschetti, and now Augavin, the midfielders for Brown. McLean with one, Augavin the other. King trying to work up that far side, takes a soft shot that time, and all of the Bears' shots so far, Mike, coming a little bit on the run, it seems. And just some, I guess, trying to find those seams, keep the goaltender moving.
Yeah, I think that time maybe trying to surprise Caracciolo as well, shooting it a little bit earlier in the possession.
And that pass from Moschetti, airmailed.
And here's where you got to wonder, is the weather affecting this a little bit? Sometimes, your pocket gets a little bit heavier, a little bit wetter. And, the grip on your stick is a little bit more different in the rain, and you'll see some of those kind of unforced errors on some of those passes like that tonight.
Caracciolo passed it back to the near Drew Lucas across midfield over to the left side, and the Bulldogs with another successful clear. Trailing by a pair, about 5 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Again, if you're joining us late, Augavin in the first minute, a big windup, and another save for Theriault.
Yeah, just a big overhand shot, but from too far out, McGovern trying to blast it past Terrio and a little bouncer in front of him, but Terrio again up to the task.
Ogevin comes back across. Hart, the feed down low. The shot from Antonelli stopped. Ball on the ground. Tries to get inside position on Alexander, and we're going to get a hold on the Bulldogs. It'll be Brown ball.
Yeah, good body positioning that time by Antonelli, able to draw the contact and keep possession for the Bears.
Bulldogs have 4 shots, all on goal, all saved in the first 5.5 minutes. On the other side, Brown also with 4 shots on goal. A couple of saves for Caracciolo as the ball is reset out near midfield. That was Nolan Rockefeller for Colby Gendron. Gendron turns back to his right for Kelly. This might be the biggest midfield crew you're going to see, tallest at least, as Rockefeller comes back across for Gendron. Rockefeller at 6'3", Kelly 6'4", Gendron 6'7". The shot, the turn, the rebound, trying to swat at it, did McLean from the edge of the crease, and it was gobbled up and clamped down by the netminder.
Yeah, good initial save that time by Caracciolo. The Bears just couldn't pounce on that rebound. Juicy one sitting there right in front of the crease, but Bulldogs able to finally get that ground ball and get going the other way.
A little spin, dancing through the midfield comes Brody Rule, and the Bulldogs will once again clear. They've been pretty spotless so far in the clear game, have the Bulldogs, as there's 6.5 gone here in a first period that has the Brown Bears ahead by 2. Kelly hot-foots off. He'll be replaced on the defensive side by Wolfram, as Wolfram, Behrens, and now Adrian Enchill make up the Brown trio of midfielders. Enchill, the pole, of course. A little switch there, back up top. The reverse comes over to Isaiah Davis. He'll turn back to his left, pops it for O'Rourke on the run, takes a pass in front. The soft touch shot ends up wide, might have been altered by Brown's defense, and behind the net here's McGovern, the 5'7" attackman, being followed by Gatos, back outside with under 15 to shoot. Comes back across for Goforth. He tries to wind up, tough angle, forced wide by Wolfram, and the Bears doing a good job of backing the Bulldogs against the time here, as that one's dislodged by Newsom, scooped up, and here come the Bears.
Just a great defensive stand that time. It was going to be close to a shot clock violation anyway, but the Bears got the turnover with about 1 second left on that clock.
Newsom caused it, a takedown, and here comes the flag. And it's going to be going against Tanner Alexander, the sophomore from right up the road in Foxborough. And the Bears will go man up, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold on Alexander back there. And Bears have been lethal with the man up this season. Number 3 in the Ivy League, converting at a 48% rate. They're 19 of 40 with the extra man. However, they will go against one of the best man-down units in the nation. Coming into this one, they have killed penalties at a 76% rate. That is
number.
9th best in the nation, 2nd best in the NEC. So strength against strength right here on this man-up opportunity.
Ogevin, Grell, and on that far wing is King. If Antonelli moving in front. Ball comes back across. Shot, save made by Caracciolo, and it'll be backed up as getting across back is LeJean Jones.
Well, you got to mark that one down for Caracciolo. Huge play that time, going down low, almost into a half splits there to deny McLean, one of the best in the country in terms of man-up goals, currently 3rd.
Out of the net was Terrio. He was being backed up there by Xander Valentini as the ball whips wide.
Yeah, good job by Valentini getting back there, forcing that shot to go wide.
Timmy Hackett for Bryant, charges his way in, drops the pass O'Rourke as the foul is released, and now Greninger rejoins the fray. Near wing O'Rourke, the Hingham Mass native. 9 goals against Sacred Heart. Little swim move around Valentini. Good pickup on the help side defense by Geppert. Over the top came the pass. Down low, the turn, the shot, another save, another shot driven. There's a flag behind the play as Terrio makes a couple more stops, Mike.
Yeah, and you got to figure this one. He may be getting in the heads of the Bulldogs just a bit. Holding down the fort once again, Connor Terrio getting the job done. Already credited with 5 saves on the night. That might go up one more. We'll see.
I would
But
think
it'll be
so.
the first man-up situation here for the Bulldogs as TYK takes a knee in the penalty area on the season. Bryant converting at a 30% rate. They've scored on 13 of their 43 chances. The Bears, #1 man-down unit in the Ivy League, 7th best in the country, killing off penalties at a 74% clip.
Ball comes back. It's thrown away. It'll be picked up. Colin Hart couldn't get there. Mark O'Rourke for the Bulldogs regains it from Goforth. Turns it looking to his right. O'Rourke winds up. And another save for Connor Terrio.
Yeah, Terrio just absolutely seeing the ball extremely well here again tonight. And for O'Rourke, the Bears have kind of been his bugaboo a little bit. He has scored in his last 24 games. The last time he didn't score, April 23rd of 2019 against the Brown Bears.
A wind up. The shot whipped up and over the top as McLean went for a little jump side angle from the near side. 61 on the shot clock for the Bears. 5:32 left in the quarter. The Bears have been held off the scoreboard, though, now for a little bit of time.
Yeah, last goal came 3 minutes, 15 seconds in.
Trying to run in is King, has Ogevin. Here comes the double, and he airmails the pass for Moschetti.
Yeah, just a tough pass that time. Got caught up, 3 black jerseys around Ogevin. Saw the open man. The contact when he jumped up forced the errant pass. So, again, good defense out of the Bulldogs.
Another 10-man ride for Brown. Caracciolo comes back to the near side. Antonelli forces the pass back as the ride does its job. Chasing after Caracciolo, he's going to have to whip downfield, and the only player there is for Brown. Gato steps up. Yeboah Cody out ahead of Enschel, and the Bears will return to the attack.
And Bryant has actually had some success in scoring those long type of goals against a 10-man ride. We saw them do it against BU earlier this season, but the Bears are going to keep throwing that look at him, which seems to be causing them problems tonight.
Had the cutter in Antonelli, did Glavin. Has McLean up top now, does King. Tough pass for Moschetti. Kelly will keep it alive on the near side wing. Tries to get his way in, fights off the cross of Drew Lucas, winds up and whips it past the net, backed up by Reed Moschetti and the Bears.
Good little speed burst that time out of Jack Kelly. Get more towards the middle of the field before releasing that shot. Just zipped it a little high.
The pass behind the net, McLean looks back left, Moschetti works his way in, has some space, spins, drops a pass inside. The shot from Glavin. Backed up again, this time by the Bears' McLean.
I think the Bears are going to wish they had some of these looks back. They could easily be up 4, 5, maybe even 6 goals at this point.
Out shooting the Bulldogs now by an 11-8 margin. Moschetti works his way in, taps his feet, back out, finds King, whips a shot and scores! Got it underneath Caracciolo that time. And with 4 minutes left here in the first quarter, the Bears go up 3-0.
Really nice patience there out of Griffin King that time. Took a little extra hop and a skip before firing it low for his 10th goal of the season. Watch here. Had the shot. Nope. He's going to take it one more step and zips it in for the Bears' 3rd goal of the night.
Timeout on the field, so we'll take 1-2 with the Bears on top, 3-0. 6 saves for Connor Terrio, and the Bears on top. We'll step aside. This is the Ivy League on ESPN. Some brave souls out to partake in today's matchup between the Brown Bears and the Bryant Bulldogs. Actually, it's a pretty good crowd on hand despite the steady rain and the midweek. And why not? You get the top 5 Brown Bears, top 10 if you look at a different poll, but 5th in the media poll and taking on a Bryant team that has been playing some much better lacrosse. And Bryant, as a result, Mike, have these first couple, they've moved Nathan LaLiberty into the face-off X, with Gunty having won the first 3 of the game.
Yeah, he was their main guy last year. Has been battling some injuries this year, but still in the face-offs he's taken, had won 59% on the season. And this time the Bulldogs will be awarded the ball after a hold on the Bears. I don't think the Brown sideline agreed with that one much. But indeed, it will go down as Bryant's first face-off win of the evening.
Only evening game we will have here this season. Or at least unless the Ivy League tournament is played here, in which case the Friday night games would be, I believe, at 5 and 8. And there is a possibility still, depending on what happens this weekend, that Brown could host the Ivy League championship. A win assures Brown of a share of first. A wind-up, another save, and the rebound to the cross of Silas Newsom out ahead for TYK. Hill hot-foot upfield has a couple men out in front of him, will hold back himself, works his way in, had the ball taken out of his cross. Nice job of patting that ball. Antonelli up top. Glavin winds up off the crossbar, and it's backed up in the corner by the Bears.
Wow, and that one left the confines of Stevenson-Pinson's field is how hard McLean shot that one.
McLean that time goes top shelf where Mama keeps the peanut butter, and it's 4-0 Brown.
Second of the night. 41st of the season for Devin McLean. Says, all right, I hit the crossbar that last one. Not going to make the same mistake twice. And absolutely drills this one past Caracciolo. No chance for the Bryant netminder. And the Bears offense continues to hum along.
First quarters have been kind to Brown over the last couple of games.
Yeah, it had been one of their tougher quarters, and Mike Tressler is going to call timeout. He is not liking anything about how this game is going right now. Sure, his men are going to get an earful, but credit the Brown Bears. They have come to play in what some are considering a possible trap game here tonight. Big game to close out the Ivy slate against Dartmouth here on Saturday. Of course, it's a big rivalry game. Trophy on the line. This one means a lot to both teams.
So you take a look at the Ivy League standings. Cornell at 10-3, Princeton at 9-3, Harvard and Yale, 8-3, Brown at 8-4. Everybody 3-2, and so there are a whole lot of scenarios. We're not going to go through all of them. Basically, if Brown wins, they're playing Dartmouth. They will finish 4-2 in the Ivy League. Cornell's playing Princeton. Harvard's playing Yale. And the best scenario for Brown would be to see Brown, Yale, and Cornell at the top of the standings, because then Brown has the head-to-head tiebreakers with both.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to this weekend as we take now a look at the NEC stand. You see Bryant's already qualified for their conference tournament. They are right behind St. Joe's. However, the one loss they do have in NEC play was in Philadelphia against St. Joseph, so they will most likely host that NEC tournament in a week or so. And again, as you alluded to earlier, this is the last NEC tournament for the Bryant Bulldogs. They'll be joining the America East as of July 1st of this year. So this is kind of the last big run. Of course, last year they upset St. Joe's in the title game to head into the NCAA tournament, where they gave Virginia one heck of a game in that first round.
Of course, Virginia, the eventual
national champions.
Yeah. So Matt Gunty back out for another face-off against LaLiberty. And this one squirts free. Gunty scoops it up, throws it back to Terrio, and he'll reset for Newsom. And
that wasn't an easy grab for Terrio.
It wasn't an easy grab for Gunty. I watched as he was running back. He kept his kind of head on a swivel, watching behind him. And here comes Pike and the Bears. Pike, one of the wingmen off that face-off unit. And now we'll play King and Ogevin with Moschetti about to check in as well. Ogevin behind the net. Glavin over the top. King has Antonelli and McLean on the interior. That's Glavin. Had his hands up, but the ball kind of sailed on him. Off the double, comes back for McLean at X, feeds it in front. Antonelli works his way in, and the finesse shot makes it 5-0.
Oh, that is just great awareness by the Bears. After the double team went in the corner, Bears knew they had a man open somewhere. Great vision by McLean to spot Antonelli, and watch Antonelli just do the rest, dancing right in front of the crease. There was the two fakes. Caracciolo, no chance there for him, and the Bears lead this one 5-0 as Antonelli picks up goal number 27 on the year.
Two plays there, Mike, that I want to highlight. One, and one's not going to show up on the screen on the score sheet. It was Glavin in the corner with two men on him, finding McLean.
Yeah.
And that's a tougher pass than it looks with his back to the net. As this one is going to be won by the Bulldogs. The pass comes left to McGovern off the faceoff win by Alexander. As the Bulldogs still looking for goal number 1, 7 saves here in the first quarter for the Bears' Connor Theriault. Mike said at the open that 15 might get it done. He's halfway there, and we've only played 13 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the pure volume. Bryant takes a lot of shots. They average about 45 per game. O'Rourke leads the team with about 11 per contest, so they will fire away. However, sometimes it's their shot selection, their shots from range, make for a little bit easier save for a goalie the caliber of Theriault.
Go forth. Picked up by Enschel. Looks back up top where Sweeney is watching McGovern. McGovern tries to get a step on the run. Check that as turned back was LaCroix.
Yeah, this defense not giving an inch out there. Great slide that time by Newsom.
Abladian over the top behind the net. McGovern under 20 to shoot. Gatos watching O'Rourke behind the net. Here came the cutters. Nobody shows. A turn, a shot, and that one went right off the mask.
It got stuck up in his helmet.
Yeah, of Theriault, and then kind of glanced down into his
neck guard.
Neck guard.
Well,
chin strap there.
Another save, though, for Theriault. 8 now on the night. Shot clock not a factor here for the final 55 seconds as the Bears try to add one more.
TYK looks back to his right as King and now Moschetti will be joined by Ogevin as Sweeney heads off the field. Again, shot clock not a factor. About 35 seconds left here in the quarter. Moschetti.
Oh, boy, Bears have a player open on the back door.
Yeah, I think it was Antonelli.
Again, Bryant will mix up some zone and some man-to-man over the course of this game. Bears, though, have been able to find the seams.
Glavin being chased by Alexander. Shot was altered. Picked up Moschetti for Ogevin. As we head to the final seconds, Ogevin wants to get his hands free. Turned, had Antonelli, and then fed over to McLean where it trickles out of bounds.
Good aggressive defense by the Bulldogs. See if they can get it up the field. 4 seconds to go.
They're going to be hemmed in their own end. And the Brown Bears pitch a shutout in quarter number 1. They'll head to the first break, leading this one 5-0. 8 saves for that man. There goes the People's goalie down the other end of the field. Bears going to be happy with what they've seen from him. We'll step aside. Bears on top of Bryant, 5-0 in a trophy game from Providence.
You know, when Title IX was passed, I was about 5 years old. And even at that young age, Title IX gave me opportunities that I wouldn't have had.
You know, you keep trying to widen the path for others. That was just part of everybody's commitment, not just me. We just needed to make it better.
The emergence of athletes like Jackie Joyner-Kersee, the emergence of big-time college women's basketball in Division I, winning the gold medal in ice hockey at the Olympics, a team full of Ivy League athletes.
We want them to do amazing things. I don't know how that could get lost. They're going to the Olympics and they're going to the highest levels.
As you get older, and I am getting older, you want to, do right in the world.
That commitment is part of the fabric of our decision making, frankly, at every level. It's just part of our DNA.
It's a moment of celebration for us. It really is.
Elite Physical Therapy was founded on relationships and wanting to do the very best and elite by others. Having our partnerships with institutions like the University of Rhode Island, Providence College, and Brown University have made us proud to continue to serve the communities like they do.
I can say that I'm incredibly proud of our team and our community.
Treating them, we know these people on a personal level.
Here at Elite, we really focus on the person and what's important to the person.
We love Rhode Island. We're living here. We're raising our families here.
Well, you look inside the meeting between these two teams in Division I history. Brown leading the series, 7 wins, 4 losses, 12th meeting all time. Brown won the last one, 17-7. They haven't played since the 2019 season. Bryant with the abbreviated 2020, as did Brown, and not really much of a season last year even for Bryant. They only played, I think, a half dozen games or so. It was a pretty short season.
Yeah, I mean, the one interesting thing, though, is that Bryant has won the last 2 games here at Stevenson-Pinsent Field. So it's not a place that they're necessarily scared of, but they're going to need to do a whole heck of a lot better here in the second quarter, as that was one to forget for the Bulldogs.
That was one big hit there by Matt Gunty. Is coming away with the face-off ground ball was Adrian Enschel. Tough pass, though, picked off. And here come the Bulldogs on the run. The turn, the drive, the shot up and over the top from Ben Abladian, as the sophomore from Londonderry, New Hampshire, tried to cut into what is a 5-goal Brown lead. For Mike Mancuso, my name is Mike Rubin. Thanks for making us a part of your Tuesday evening, as the 5th-ranked team in the country is trying to take care of business against an in-state rival.
Yeah, and, the Bears got to be careful. They don't want to follow the exact same script as they did against Cornell, which they jumped out to a 6-0 lead after the first quarter, but then got outscored 4-0 in the second quarter. So need to find that form that they had in the first 15 minutes. Enschel with a nice takeaway there on O'Rourke.
Yeah, he intercepted it clean, clamped by the goaltender, and out ahead come the Bears with Behrens on the far wing looking to clear as the Bears work left to right here in the second. Behrens trying to charge his way forward, gets back to his left, winds up and fires it wide. It was blocked, actually.
Yeah, defense getting in the way that time. They did a nice job closing him out. Never made it in on Caracciolo.
Yeah, I was watching the 2 players sprinting to the end line, but the ball was off to the far wing. Kelly, Moschetti, and King, the Bear middies, as trying to get a step here is King. Drive at his cross by Keaton Jones, unable to come away with a clean takeaway, down to 40 on the shot clock for Brown, as Kelly looks to swerve back to his right. Has Glavin behind the net. Antonelli and McLean looming in front, and another pass airmailed as the Bears turn it over for what will be their 6th giveaway of the game so far.
Yeah, it's another one of those unforced turnovers, though.
The Bryant Bulldogs clamoring for an offsides, boy, the bench is hot for Bryant. I was keeping an eye down there on these substitutions, as now the Bulldogs will go to work on the attack, down by 5. Wolfram.
And usually if they're that heated, there usually is probably some fire where there's smoke.
Not too happy with Drew Lucas hanging back. They were trying to get a midfielder on, and usually you'll see a pole step off so that can happen. LaCroix turns to his left. That's Goforth. He'll drop back for a moment. Yeboah Cody showing to him. Little spin back by Goforth, still hot-footing around, being chased down to 30 on the shot clock. Make it 25 for Bryant. Pushed back up to Davis. Wants to get his hands free, bounces it up and over the top. More importantly, no contact with a goalie or a pipe, and the shot clock does not reset.
So 20 on the shot clock left here for the Bulldogs.
McGovern will use the screen from Goforth. Running through it was, I want to say, Gatos back up top. A nice play there by Geppert on the poke check. Almost dislodged the ball from Davis. Bryant under 10 seconds, running on short time. Here's LaCroix, 3 seconds left. And the Bulldogs will have to throw it to the corner as Brown's defense this time gets a hold.
Wow, textbook defense there out of the Bears. And there has been nowhere for the Bulldogs to get any quality shots off tonight.
And say what you want. I mean, you mentioned, Mike, Bryant takes a lot of shots. So for them to have now on the verge of 2 shot clock violations is really, they had that one and one where they took a shot with like 1 or 2 seconds left. Uncharacteristic.
Right. I was wondering how the matchup between what are kind of smaller attackmen, smaller middies going against kind of some bigger defenders that the Bears have, how that would play out. And so far, advantage Brown.
Glavin, McLean's shot went low to, Antonelli went low to high, and fired it up and over the net. McLean was backing it up.
Yeah, good closeout by the defense, forcing that shot to go a little higher than Antonelli might have wanted. But good backup by the Bears to keep it alive as they work Colby Gendron out there now.
You mentioned the size advantage for Brown. This is that midfield unit again, this time with Ogevin and Gendron, along with the 6'3" Rockefeller. Gendron, little shake and bake, back over for Ogevin. Turns to his left, pulls his way in, feeds it behind the net, but beyond the reach of, I believe it was Glavin, and Bryant will take over on another Brown turnover.
Yeah, again, the Bears, too many turnovers, I'm sure, for Coach Daly's liking at this point. That was the 8th, I believe, or are they going to say the 7th of the night on the Bears as they go to that 10-man ride once more.
Big whack there by Glavin, losing a foot, and George Pike trying to step in. He'll scoop up the loose ball and a push on Rockefeller, and here comes a flag. Bryant has the ball, but it's going to be a giveaway, and Bears are going to be going extra man as I think the foul should go against John Miller, and it will be a push on Bryant's number 33.
Indeed it will be. And again, just kind of helter-skelter there in the middle of the field. Both teams struggling a little bit with some of their passing. Some good defensive plays, some good takeaways, but in the end, Rockefeller getting hit from behind, pushed down by John Miller. So push with possession, the Bears will take over on their second man up of the day. 0 for 1 so far. They had a great look. It was just a fantastic save out of Caracciolo to deny McLean on the Bears' first MO, but we'll see what they can do here on their second chance.
Ogevin, Grell, and King, along with Glavin, McLean, and Antonelli.
McLean has been the man on the extra man unit this year. 9 of the 19 Brown goals.
The dink and dunk inside on the quick stick for King was picked off by Caracciolo. Looked like it was going high anyways, and Bryant will clear as the ball's pushed to the far wing. Bryant with a successful clear, and as a result, the release. Aiden Galtz on for the Bulldogs. Passes back for Hackett, being defended by Behrens. Down low, good slide by Browns. Geppert, the wind up, the shot, the score! Getting his hands free is Mark O'Rourke, and making certain that he wasn't going to be held scoreless again. The Bulldogs on the board.
It was a long time coming, almost 20 minutes of game time for the Bulldogs to strike for their first. And it's Mark O'Rourke as he is able to tag the back of the net. Goal number 40 on the season for him. And add another to the all-time goal-scoring record at Bryant. 152 career goals now for O'Rourke.
10 minutes and change left here in the second. Gunty is going to be de-sticked. And as a result, Bryant will take over on the procedural.
Yeah, playing without a stick there was Gunty.
And the fans thinking it should have been a Brown possession, but Galtz on the play with now Hackett, and here comes Greninger. As the Bulldogs go to work, held the Bears again scoreless for the first 5.5 minutes almost here of the second quarter. Counting the last couple of the first, it's been almost a full half quarter since Brown last scored. Galtz finds a way through and gets over the shoulder of Theriault, and the Bulldogs within 3 now. It's 5-2.
Yeah, Galtz just shooting on the run that time. The Bears not closing him out. When these guys get their hands free, they are very lethal. Galtz with his 16th goal of the year. And just like that, back-to-back goals by the Bulldogs. We saw them do something similar against Mount St. Mary's. They would have these stretches where they would get goals in bunches. In the second quarter in that game, they had 4 goals in 1 minute and 13 seconds. So this is a team that can put some goals up quickly, and it goes to that face-off X. And when Alexander gets hot, look out.
This time he is stopped by Theriault, who quickly outlets for his man Pike. Here come the Bears going back the other way quickly. Pike on the run, hands up, shot, bounce, shot, scores! George Pike end to end on the feed from his goaltender, and it's 6-2.
Oh, that's a big-time goal for the Bears to break the momentum of the Bulldogs. George Pike with his third of the season. The senior coming through right down the middle. Just barrels past his man. Big right-handed bounce shot. Goes top shelf just underneath the crossbar for the Bears' 6th goal of the day.
Bears needed that one, Mike. You could sense the momentum starting to swing a little bit, as this one again will be won by Alexander, who lost his footing.
And lost the ball.
And as a result, lost the ball. He's a little slow getting up.
Yeah, took a pop there. A couple of Bears getting them. It was a good face-off win, but the Bears face-off unit able to get that ball right back. And that's one of those deceptive face-off wins where you see the one face-off, but then you have the immediate turnover to negate it.
Geppert out ahead. A tough pass is picked off.
Yeah, they were down to about 1 second left to get it across midfield were the Bears.
And it'll be dropped back. The Bulldogs, O'Rourke, with McGovern and Abladian waiting for the midfield reinforcements in the form of Goforth, LaCroix, and now Isaiah Davis.
There's a miscommunication on the subs coming all the way back. Had been Gatos. Now he gets back on defense.
Sweeney, Gatos, Witt, Augavin, Geppert, and Valentini. The Bears with 2 poles out there, 2 long pole midfielders, only the 1 short stick. Ball bounces on the ground, picked up by Davis in traffic. Valentini chasing O'Rourke. Here comes the slide from Witt. Back behind the net at X. A little spin move and a shot saved by the goaltender, but a crease violation on Abladian will give the Bears back the ball.
That should be a save, though, as well.
Yep.
As Terrio, that should be his 10th. As the Bears try to make quicker work of this clear.
Kelly for King. Works his way in, has some space. Good closeout there on the defensive side by Alexander, as denied King the opportunity to shoot after it looked like King may have had a step. So far, Mike, I think the advantage has been Brown's midfielders on Bryant's short sticks for sure. We've seen a couple of nice runs out of King, Pike, Augavin, and even Moschetti, who did turn the ball over a couple of times. Here's Kelly.
Yeah, we've seen the Bears being able to get either a step or half a step on their defenders on the run. And that's let them get their hands free as well on a lot of their shots.
Like there, King off the crossbar. Second time we've seen the Bears hit a pipe and have it almost clear the stadium.
Yeah, that one ricocheted all the way outside the box. But backed up by the Bears' Rockefeller.
Rockefeller's pass came across to Kelly. He scoops it up. Glavin, the quick stick for McLean on the ground. Rockefeller trying to hot foot after it. Shoulder-to-shoulder hit. Ball on the end line is a nice hit there by Alexander. By the Bulldogs' rule for Alexander now. And here comes Bryant trying to clear. And Enschel just chops it away.
Oh, just great positional defense there by Enschel.
Antonelli picks it up. Here's McLean firing it wide, and the Bulldogs will back it up.
Yeah, maybe a little over-optimistic that time by McLean. Kind of a sharp angle from range with no one backing it up.
Whistles everywhere. Thought maybe the Bulldogs would want time, but they're not. 6-2. As here comes Mason Druin for the Bulldogs. Out across for McGovern. And now to the far side corner, O'Rourke. Works with Abladian behind the net as well. Being followed by Witt. Don't see Witt a lot. Newsom on the sideline, maybe keeping his RPMs down a little bit today. This is Riley Van Duzer, the sophomore from Dover, Mass. Haven't called his name yet. Van Duzer had played it for Pierce Gregory. Going a little deeper here, I think, with all the up and down play. Not too much of a surprise. Druin working his way in on Trevor Yeboah Cody. Turned back 25 on the shot clock as this Brown defensive unit doing its job. O'Rourke trying to get his hands free. Witt forces him back behind the net, and now just 15 on the shot clock for Bryant. Witt tries to swim his way in, wants the shot back up top for Van Duzer. He's going to be forced to the wing. Tough angle. Nowhere to go, Abladian. 5 seconds left. Ball back up top. Bulldogs from way out of range. And it's another shot clock violation on the Bulldogs. And Mike, a lot of credit. You got Bryant's top-level attackers, and we've got calling a couple Brown defenders, namely a guy like Witt, who we haven't called a ton of this year.
Yeah, guys getting the job done out there with the poles. Enschel had a great slide, though, to really turn back O'Rourke on one of those advances from GLE. So just great team defense by the Bears, and it really limited any quality scoring opportunities for the Bulldogs.
Yeboah Cody and Wolfram, they're tired as Ogevin takes a couple of shots to the helmet. Would have been a free position for the Cornell women, Mike. They might call it anyways. Gendron, every time we saw the head bounce back the other day, it was a free position. Gendron working his way in, has the size advantage, takes a shot, rebound, shot and scored! Johnny on the spot are the Bears, and they will find their way to the net for the 7th time today as Glavin was able to gobble up the rebound.
Yeah, third goal of the season for Glavin, making it look easy. Very cool customer in front of the net, and the Bears lead this one 7-2.
Timeout on the field. We'll take 1-2 with 4:15 to play here in the first half. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
Elite Physical Therapy is a proud partner of Brown Bears Athletics. Achieving elite levels of performance is a pursuit held by all athletes. So we wanted to know how members of Brown's coaching staff defined elite.
Elite means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but I would say it's somebody who's pursuing their potential to the absolute ends. And so, for some people that might mean, the Olympic Games and pursuing medals, and for other people that might mean trying to get onto the roster, to travel to HEPS and our Ivy League championship, and to score a point for the team by the time they're a senior. So everybody's potential lies in a different place, but if you're truly pursuing your potential to the absolute end, then that's what being elite is to me.
Now taking off, Breeze Airways with nice, new, and non-stop flights to Pittsburgh, Charleston, and Norfolk. Only on Breeze Airways.
The British! They're here!
Sir, this is our Bay Coast Bank interactive teller machine, not the British. With our local ITM personal bankers, you can cash checks, make loan payments, and deposit or withdraw funds with extended hours beyond regular branch hours.
Genius!
Thank you!
I would like to make a withdrawal.
Great! How much?
12 shillings, please.
Welcoming back here to Stevenson-Pinson's Field on a misty Tuesday night. Again, Mother Nature having other plans. Sometimes these midweek April games, Mike, are absolutely perfect afternoons, or evenings. This one, not so.
Yeah, this one a little bit nasty out there today. It's another violation against the Bears.
And the Bulldogs now have won a few of the face-offs, more of the face-offs here in the second quarter than Brown, and have actually taken an advantage on that. We can hear everything from the control room, FYI.
So we'll see what the Bulldogs can manufacture here on the offensive end. It's been tough sledding against a very stout Brown defense. It's been able to use a lot of different men back there as Coach Daly.
Newsom, Enschel, Wolfram, Gatos, a feed, bounces up and over the top. No indication of a save. And so the shot clock will not reset with 50 seconds left here.
Yeah, and Abladian's going to want that one back. He was in a prime spot right in front of the cage. But, when you got a netminder like Terrio who's been playing the way he has, that tends to get in the heads of these shooters.
That one whipped wide as Hackett was with a good feed for O'Rourke.
And again, O'Rourke, he will keep shooting. That's, I think, his 5th shot of the day.
McGovern, tried to feed it in front. The ball tossed away, looking for O'Rourke.
And again, the defense forcing that issue.
Yeah, it's
forcing the bad pass.
And after the missed shot, you could get a sense that might be a psychological miss, when your goaltender playing that well. As the feed comes behind the net, over, dancing on the near side of the box is Glavin. Has Antonelli behind the net. looked for the cutter in the form of McLean, but the pass was behind him, and a tough feed ends up cleared quickly by the Bulldogs. Some unsettled play. McGovern comes back out. Colin Hart back on the field with Goforth with the ball toward the restraining line. Here come the rest of the Bulldogs with Davis and LaCroix. Bulldogs have used some different combinations of their midfielders as well.
I think Coach Pressler just trying to find something that's going to work. He's been unable to unlock this Brown defense thus far, despite putting up the 2 goals earlier in this quarter.
Ogevin, Behrens, and Hart, the 3 middies. Gatos, Geppert, and Newsom, the poles, the close defenders. McGovern back up top, trying to shake and bake. There was LaCroix. Tries to turn, spins on Behrens, drives a shot wide, and what an effort by Colin Hart, trying to back it up, but there nearer to the end line was Ben Abladian for the Bulldogs, who are down to 20 on the shot clock once again. O'Rourke trying to turn, wants the shot, doesn't have anywhere to go. Well followed there by Hart. The rotation, Abladian turns, shoots and scores.
Abladian able to turn the corner in front that time. Get a pretty good rip on net, and that'll be his 33rd goal of the season, and a much-needed one for the Bryant Bulldogs, as they really haven't been able to fully unlock this Brown defense. But a good dodge underneath that time. Just got the inside position on Geppert and brought it home with 1:51 left in the second quarter.
The quick face-off win for the Bulldogs. The turn, the shot, and a quick finish. Abladian, 2-2 in very short time, and the Bulldogs are within 3.
And now this is what the Bulldogs have been doing this season. They get these little runs, multiple goals in a short amount of time, and it starts with the man number 8, Jacob Alexander, on the face-off dot. As that one took him only 6 seconds to win the face-off, get it down the field, and in the back of the net.
7-4 the score, 105 seconds left here in the first half. The Bulldogs win another face-off. Here come Alexander, will pull back, and will wait for reinforcements this time, as here comes Goltz. Goltz, Hackett, and now Greninger.
So about a 20-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock here. We'll see how deep the Bulldogs take this one down.
Timmy Hackett behind the net on the corner, being watched by Yeboah Cody. And the turn, the spin, the turn down low, another shot, and a quick natural hat trick for Abladian, and the Bulldogs have all the momentum.
Goals number 33, 34, and 35 on the season. Benny Abladian getting the Bulldogs right back in this one. 3 goals in less than a minute.
60 minutes continues to elude Brown. It may only be a couple, but the Bulldogs could make this a 1-goal game. The way they're scoring, Mike, could even tie it before halftime.
Yeah, anything is possible, as we just saw.
And now a violation on the Bears face-off man, as they had sent Tegan Boltman out there to take that draw to try and stop the bleeding. The shot clock is not a factor here with under a minute left in the half, and Mike Pressler wants timeout.
Yeah, why not? Get his guys a little extra rest here, knowing that the shot clock will be off for the remainder of this second quarter. But the Bears struggling at the face-off dot. After winning that battle in the first quarter, has been all Bryant in the second quarter, led by Alexander, 8 of 12 on the dot so far today.
Yeah, in the face-offs, Bryant won just 2 of 6, and here in the second quarter have won 7 of 8.
Yeah, and that's Bryant's game. You know, they're traditionally strong up the middle, in goal, at the face-off X, up top. So, you know, they're playing their game plan right now, and after having trouble unlocking the Bears, they found a way to do it, win those quick face-offs, and before the Bears can get really settled back defensively, those quick strikes, we know how many shots they like to fire in there. And they've kind of gone away from O'Rourke the last couple of possessions, but that's because Benny Abladian's almost equally as dangerous. You know, you got O'Rourke, he's got 40 on the season. Abladian now at 35. Really kind of a two-headed monster, and sometimes Abladian.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the reigning NEC Rookie of the Year, and he's a stud as well. And someone that the Bears are going to have to account for the rest of this one for sure. We'll see how the Bears respond. But they're going to have the work cut out for them here. You know, 54.5 seconds left in the quarter. Shot clock not a factor for Bryant, and they were able to draw something up in that timeout.
And you saw the weather there a second ago, folks. The rain is certainly a bit steadier than it was at the top of the game, as the Brown coaching staff was wondering what's going on at the face-off X. It matters not at this juncture because the Bulldogs will have the possession. And I think the question really is, if they get a quick shot that's an open look, you take it. Otherwise, play for a good last shot. You don't want to give the Bears an opportunity.
Yeah, you certainly have all the momentum riding on your side right now if you are Bryant. Might as well try to keep it that way. Again, 3 straight goals, less than a minute for Benny Abladian to bring the Bulldogs back from the dead here this Tuesday night.
That the fastest natural hat trick we've seen in a while?
Fastest one we've seen this season here, for
That's
sure.
For sure. Greninger being chased by Behrens, and the Bulldogs are, in fact, seemingly playing for what would be the last shot of the half. Under 30 seconds left here in the second quarter. O'Rourke comes back across for Goltz. Turns, shoots it wide. A little nice spin move, but easily backed up by the first-year McGovern out of Darien, Connecticut.
Yeah, Goltz really wanted that one. You could see him calling for it as he was open up top.
Gatos chasing his man. The feed comes across. Shot whipped wide as winding up was Timmy Hackett. Good closeout by George Pike.
Yeah, and he needed to because that was going to be a very good look for Timmy Hackett.
Under 10. The feed in front. Hackett shot wide of Terrio. The Bulldogs getting not 1, not 2, not 3, but now 4 looks here in the final 30 seconds. The turn, the feed, the interception from Pike, and that will do it for a frenetic first half. But the Bulldogs answer the bell. They outscored the Bears 5-2 in the second and make a game of it at the half. It's Brown 7, Bryant 5. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back here with our halftime report from Stevenson-Pinson's Field in the rain. The Ocean State Cup to be decided between a couple of schools separated by about a dozen or so miles. It's 7-5. We'll be right back with our halftime report. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
Doctors at University Orthopedics have been caring for the people of southeastern New England for more than 40 years. With the Warren Alpert Medical School of Brown University, we train the next generation of orthopedic surgeons. Our state-of-the-art facilities stretch from Westerly to Mansfield. At our East Bay Surgery Center, we've performed thousands of surgeries, including same-day total joint replacements. We've grown through the years, but our goal has always been getting you back to doing what you love to do. The best orthopedic care anywhere is right here. University Orthopedics.
From corporate events to weddings by the bay to private celebrations, the Pronzi name means elegance, personalized service, and exacting attention to detail. Pronzi has everything you need in one place. Event planning, catering, tents, tables and chairs, decor, and so much more. Call Pronzi today and let them plan your next event. Why go anywhere else?
If you speak the language of bosons and quarks, of nanoengineering, Wordsworth, or hip-hop, then look no further than Brown University. If you want to work side by side with extraordinary faculty, to choose from 78 academic majors across the spectrum, or to follow a major of your own design, then expect some of the brightest young minds from around the world to surround and engage you at Brown University. Take it from me. I'm John Krasinski, class of 2001.
It's time for your Brown Bears Top 10 Plays of the Month, presented to you by Baycoast Bank. At number 10, freshman Nathan Brasher's 3-run shot at home gave the Bears a 9-4 win over the Holy Cross Crusaders. That one is out of here.
The wind starts blowing out. clears the bases.
At number 9, men's basketball senior Jalen Gainey closed out his Brown career in style. In his final game, Gainey scored 20 points and pulled down a career-high 18 rebounds on his way to being named Ivy League Player of the Week and Defensive Player of the Year. Checking in at number 8, men's lacrosse senior Brian Antonelli with the scoop, the spin, and the score against the UMass Minutemen. Now that's good stuff.
Put that one on your highlight reel, Brian Antonelli, and the Bears lead 3-1.
At number 7, men's diver Trevor Labuda capped off an outstanding senior season and career with a 14th place finish in the 3-meter at the NCAA's Zone A Championships in Annapolis. Great job, Trevor. On to number 6, where women's lax junior Mia Moscone scored 5 goals against the Big Green. Here she goes high off the feed from Jeschke in the Bears' Ivy victory over Dartmouth.
Got the goaltender Todd to move, and Moscone pots it.
At number 5, how about the performance of Katie O'Leary in a twin bill against Bryan? In 2 wins over the Bulldogs, O'Leary went 4 for 6 at the plate with a whopping 8 runs batted in.
Wow! Standing up and 3 runs in as Carey comes around on a bases clearing double for Katie O'Leary.
At number 4, we head to track and field where sophomore Lauren Yaboa Cody tallied the 8th best triple jump in school history at 12.43 meters down in Miami. Way to go, Lauren. At number 3, how about a little defense? Leah Carey flashes the leather in right field against Houston Baptist. Say hey, Leah.
And that is going to be caught in right. A great play by Carey to end the game.
At number 2, our women's gymnastics team came up big at the Gymnastics East Conference Championships here at Brown. A second-place finish by the Bears included a school record score of 195.975 and 8 all-conference performances. Nice job. And finally, at number 1, junior sniper Devin McClain of our men's lacrosse team made SportsCenter's top 10 with this one. How about this ridiculous goal against Villanova? Da-da-da, da-da-da. And there you have it, your Brown Bears top 10 plays of the month.
And we welcome you back here to Stevenson-Pinsent Field. 7-5 the score. Bulldogs riding a lot of momentum into the half. And we'll take a look at some of the stats and numbers when we return to a wet one here on the east side. Actually, we're going to get the stats right now. There they are, Mike.
Yeah, and after the Bears outshot Bryant in the first quarter, the Bulldogs came storming back with 16 shots in the second quarter to outshoot the Bears 26-23 for the half overall. You see the saves there. Connor Terrio, the People's goalie, with 10 for the Bears, 5 for Luke Caracciolo of the Bulldogs. And the turnovers, I think, much higher than either Coach Pressler or Coach Daly would like at to this point. Double-digit turnovers for both teams. That's got to be cleaned up. The face-offs, though, after a slow start on the face-off dot for the Bulldogs, Jacob Alexander took a strong hold of that department for Bryant and really helped turn things around, especially in the last 5 minutes of that first half, in which the Bulldogs got 3 goals in 49 seconds from Benny Abladian to bring the Bulldogs within 7-5.
Well, the teams break the huddles, and now we'll take that time out, and we'll be back here with the second half action from Stevenson-Pinsent Field. 7-5 the score, folks. We'll be right back. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
Elite Physical Therapy is a proud partner of Brown Bears Athletics. Achieving elite levels of performance is a pursuit held by all athletes, so we wanted to know how members of Brown's coaching staff defined elite.
Elite means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but I would say it's somebody who's pursuing their potential to the absolute ends. And so, for some people that might mean, the Olympic Games and pursuing medals, and for other people that might mean trying to get onto the roster, to travel to HEPS and our Ivy League championship, and to score a point for the team by the time they're a senior. So everybody's potential lies in a different place, but if you're truly pursuing your potential to the absolute end, then that's what being elite is to me.
Now taking off, Breeze Airways with nice, new, and non-stop flights to Pittsburgh, Charleston, and Norfolk. Only on Breeze Airways.
The British! They're here!
Sir, this is our Bay Coast Bank interactive teller machine, not the British. With our local ITM personal bankers, you can cash checks, make loan payments, and deposit or withdraw funds with extended hours beyond regular branch hours.
Genius!
Thank you!
I would like to make a withdrawal.
Great! How much?
12 shillings, please.
And we welcome you back here to Stevenson-Pinsent Field. 7-5 the score. Mike, we saw a pretty good first half out of both of these teams, but kind of bipolar, if you will, for the Bears. A very different end to the first half than we saw the first quarter.
Well, the Bears had a strong first 15 minutes. 5 goals in the opening quarter for the Bears as they got off to an awfully quick start. Ryan Ogevin getting the party started on the run, blowing that one past Luke Caracciolo for the opening goal of the game. Took the Bears just 30 seconds. Connor Terrio was the man in the first quarter. He had 8 saves in the first quarter for the Bears as they shut out the Bulldogs. And then it was Devin McLean, one of the prettiest goals of the season, the old BTB behind the back for the tally, and the Bears would keep the offense going. McLean once again off the feed from Trevor Glavin. Bears would keep the home cooking on high as Brian Antonelli made it 5-0 at the quarter break. Then the Bulldogs would strike back. O'Rourke finally getting off the side against the Bears as he was able to score for the 25th game in a row. And then getting in on the scoring party as well was Aiden Goltz of the Bulldogs. Bears would come back with a pair of goals of their own as Pike and then Trevor Glavin able to get on the board as well. Then it became the Benny Abladian show. 3 straight goals for the sophomore as he had those 3 goals in a 49-second span late in the second quarter. And that brought us to our 7-5 score here at the half as we get set for the second half of play. Faceoffs are going to be critical for the Bears to try to get back in form here tonight, and a good win there by Matt Gunty.
And a pole goal for Adrian Enchel, and that will juice you up, Mike.
Oh, nothing juicier than a pole goal at night. Enchel, his first of the season, a well-earned goal for one of the toughest Bears out there with the pole that time, and a perfect start for the Bears. They win the faceoff, and it takes them just 10 seconds to get that one in the back of the net. Here's a look there, the feed from Gunty, and the finish from Adrian Enchel.
Well, Mike Daly dialed up. Let's get off to a quick start. Couldn't have asked for anything quicker. 10 seconds till the Bears get on the board to start the second half.
Well, again, even though it's non-conference, this game does mean a lot to both teams. Trophy on the light tonight. The Ocean State Cup. Of course, both teams were able to beat Providence earlier this season, so this is the official Ocean State title game for 2022.
I like that they play this later in the season. I mean, sometimes people will say, you know, you get that non-league game late in the year, but a lot of teams are playing those rivalry-type games. Penn's playing St. Joe's, Yale's playing Quinnipiac.
Well, let's face it, this is a Bryant team that's often a mainstay in the NCAA tournament, so you want to be playing quality competition at this point in the year, and it is almost like having another league game at this point as well.
And it's about making sure you peak against everybody. And we were talking off air, Mike, that Brown's been on a steady climb. The Princeton game, the UMass game, and the Harvard game, certainly ones that they would want back, as that one is thrown away. And it's going to be over and back against the Bulldogs. And, you know, but since then, you know, you go into that gauntlet of the schedule. Bears have won 3 in a row against 3 top 10 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were writing off the Bears for dead after they lost to Princeton, knowing that they had to face Yale, Cornell, Penn all in a row. And the Bears, kind of surprising a lot of folks out there, taking all 3 of those games, including 2 of them on the road.
I think the only people that weren't surprised were the Bears themselves.
Absolutely. I know Mike Daly's been very high on this team. Felt that they were able to build just some super strong bonds over last season, even though they only played the 1 game against BU in which they won. A lot of positive momentum for his Brown Bears heading into this season, despite only playing that 1 game.
Moschetti, the kind of awkward half pass, half behind the back feed, and it will be picked off by the Bulldogs, and Tanner Alexander in the end crosses the field with a pass, and here comes Yale's Drew Lucas.
Yeah, so a couple of miscues from each side there. First the Bulldogs going over and back, then the Bears with the turnover behind the net. See if both sides get those turnovers out of their system. Again, both in double-digit turnovers after the first half.
Barron's on for Brown. Enschel. And I think Griffin King is still on as a short stick midi. And now he'll hot foot back towards midfield, allow Wolfram to get back on. Meanwhile, everybody playing 5-on-5. Bounce shot over the top of the Brown net. Comes back out to LaCroix. Crosses back near wing. Goal line extended. McGovern. The feet. The shot. It's backed up and off a body. And that one last touched by the Bears, as I think Gatos' cross knocked it over the end line. O'Rourke. Good switch with Geppert. And that one just off the stick of Behrens.
Yeah, good deflection there by Ryan Behrens, the freshman, coming up with a nice defensive play.
And the shot clock somehow reset, but should not have, I don't think.
No, not on a simple deflection.
There should be...
yeah, there was never a save either in any of that, so the ball never changed possession.
Yep, 22 seconds on the shot clock. It's reset. Officials were right on it all the way as the Bulldogs reset from that far wing. Newsom, speaking of 22, switches. The ball comes over the top. Another 22. That's Goforth. Pushed aside by Enschel. Gets inside position. Ran into a sea of Bears. The ball rolls in on Terrio. And he'll bounce a pass over to Geppert. And the Bears will start the clear. Ahead it comes to Kelly. Tries to get his way around O'Rourke and does. Rockefeller to his left. And now looks like Gendron waiting to come in for Wolfram. And now here's Gendron, the big fella. Comes to the left side. Gets a head full of steam. Gets his way towards the left. Pushes the pass back up. Behrens, the feed across. And a procedural violation. The Bears have too many players. They have 7.
There's offsides.
Yeah, Behrens never got off when Gendron stepped on. Behrens was still on.
Yeah, and you can't afford to have those kind of mental mistakes out there.
Bulldogs will clear. The turn, the shot, and the score! 4 in a row for Benny Abladian and the Bulldogs are back within 2.
Yeah, that time Abladian just running right across from left to right. Got himself to a better angle. Fired it past Terrio. Seems to have Terrio's number here. Here's another look. Starts behind the goal. Curls all the way around.
Yeah, Terrio late.
Just a good-looking goal there by Abladian. 4th of the night.
Yeah, Abladian has scored the last 4 Bulldog goals. The only one in the middle there was Enschel's pole strike to start the half. But
Bears catch a break on the next faceoff, though. A little early movement out of Jacob Alexander. Or a miscue by him on the faceoff.
Face-offs are fairly even. 10 of 17 for Bryant, 7 of 17. But, of course, Bryant only won 2 in the first quarter. They've been much better since. Moschetti for Augavin, who whips it wide.
Well, we all know Augavin has probably the hardest shot on the field. Really stepped into that one, kept it low, going with a little bouncer. A worm burner towards Caracciolo, but just put it a little off target.
Moschetti, Augavin, and King. King looking back to his left, now turns back right. Backing off him was McLean, Antonelli, and now Glavin at X. Moschetti, 35 on the shot clock. Moschetti has Glavin behind the net. Augavin up top. Takes a couple of hits, and then on with the double came LeJean Jones, and Moschetti never saw him coming and needed to release that ball.
Yeah, I tell you what, the Bryant defense moving its feet much better than they did in the first quarter has really slowed down this Brown attack. Just 3 goals since that opening 15 minutes.
And the Bears in danger of finding their lead down to 1 here. Bulldogs have not been within 1 since it was 1-0, and that was the first half minute of the game.
And these are 2 teams that play with kind of a similar style and grit, that mentality, that toughness that you see from year to year. And now it just might be a matter of whose will be stronger on this title night.
Ball pushed on that far side, comes back up top to Druin, comes to O'Rourke, hands up, fires it wide, backed up by Abladian and the Bulldogs. Just under 30 left on the shot clock. Bulldogs have had 4 violations, or 3 shot clock violations, and 1 that was close. And great hustle play there by the Bears' Mark Witt.
Yeah, Mark Witt stepping into action tonight, seeing significant playing time and getting a possession back there against a very speedy Logan McGovern. But as soon as that ball was released, Witt was off to the races and put himself in a great spot.
Witt loops it ahead for Kelly. The Bears will complete the clear. 9 minutes left in the half. Kelly tries to bull his way in on Keaton Jones, and now will back off with Rockefeller and now Newsom, it would appear. But
well, and this Bryant defense has not been afraid to come out and challenge the Bears. No easy possessions here for Brown.
Gendron will wait for Pike, as now Kelly winds up. Shot saved by Caracciolo. Ground ball pickup for Alexander. Chased by McLean, who dislodges it. And the ball ends up out of bounds. It'll be Brown. Oh, they're going to say Bryant ball. I think there was a push, Mike.
Yeah, I think they got a little push on McLean at the very end there, battling with Tanner Alexander. But it all started with a good save from Caracciolo, starting to find his game here tonight.
Galtz and the Bulldogs offsides as Galtz leaned across. Here comes Antonelli. A lot of numbers back, meanwhile, for Bryant.
Yeah, the Bears are trying to get something going in an unsettled situation at that time, trying to get that transition game going, but Bryant's so good about getting back defensively.
Augavin fires it up and over the top. There to back it up, Glavin, possibly McLean as well.
Yeah, Drew Lucas able to alter that shot at the last second, keeping it high from the stick of Augavin.
Kelly, Augavin, Rockefeller. Now it seems the Bears trying to find a combination that'll get them back in order as Kelly dropped it, picks it back up, was quickly harassed there by Jones. Turns left, Rockefeller fires it home as Caracciolo was collapsing on it. It goes 5-hole, and the Bears lead is back up to 3.
Really nice shot placement that time by Nolan Rockefeller. Bears' 9th goal of the season, and for Rockefeller, his 5th of the year. And again, a much-needed one to give a little positive boost to the Bears, nearing the midway point of the third quarter.
And we'll step aside as there's a timeout on the field. The Bears get back on the board and lead by 3. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
Elite Physical Therapy was founded on relationships and wanting to do the very best and elite by others. Having our partnerships with institutions like the University of Rhode Island, Providence College, and Brown University have made us proud to continue to serve the communities like they do.
I can say that I am incredibly proud of our team and our community.
treating them. We know these people on a personal level.
Here at Elite, we really focus on the person and what's important to the person. We love Rhode Island. We're living here. We're raising our families here.
If you speak the language of bosons and quarks, of nanoengineering, Wordsworth, or hip-hop, then look no further than Brown University. If you want to work side by side with extraordinary faculty, to choose from 78 academic majors across the spectrum, or to follow a major of your own design, then expect some of the brightest young minds from around the world to surround and engage you at Brown University. Take it from me. I'm John Krasinski, class of 2001.
Now there's the Bryant Bulldogs huddle, Mike, as the Bulldogs have been chasing this one since the first quarter. You have to say, they had the run of play for the end of the second quarter, and you could almost say that their defense and goaltending has made life a little more difficult on the Bears attackers than Mike Daly would have liked. And Mike Pressler's a very good chess player. I mean, that's not to take anything away from Mike Daly and the Bears. It's just the reality that over the years and his career, both here at Bryant and at Duke prior, Mike Pressler has long been one of the game's great tactical coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. And, after his Bulldogs got off to such a slow start, I mean, that was about as poor a quarter as we've probably seen them play this season. They were down 5-0, but boy, did they make some adjustments there after that first 15 minutes and been able to turn things around a little bit. We'll see if they can keep it going, though. But, again, as you continue to chase the game, it makes it so much harder down the stretch as you expend so much energy just getting back in the game. So we'll see now if the Bears can maybe press forward and extend that lead out a little bit more.
Mike Daly always has a sense of calm on the sidelines with his men, and certainly always has them ready to withstand anything, as that one skips past Antonelli wide from Ogevin.
Yeah, Ogevin really stepping down into that one, even with Dijay Pearson charging at him. But a touch off the mark once again. We've seen a couple of those long-range bombs from Ogevin go wide.
Oh, Moschetti into his own net. Moschetti's pass was looking across on the quick stick look, and it was deflected by the Bulldogs' Tanner Alexander into the net.
Well, that's about as unfortunate as it can get for Bryant. You can't fault Alexander at all. He would never expect that ball to be where it was. Here's another look as Moschetti just trying to feed it cross crease. Was looking for Glavin on the back door, and as Alexander put his stick out, just knocked it past Caracciolo.
I've been in those shoes, and, there's the coaching staff, telling Alexander not really a whole lot he could do, but you got to just have some situational awareness as Enchel comes off the wing, wins the faceoff, and ahead for Pike, who absorbs a shot from Lanoux, stays on the run, drops it behind the net, and the Bears will reset with the ball played up top for Rockefeller, Gendron, and now they'll wait for Kelly.
And again, this game is really coming down to the faceoffs, Mike. We've seen when Bryant gets hot, they start winning those faceoffs. They keep taking advantage of those extra possessions. And for the Bears, able to get one back there, and we're going to see another flag.
Should be a trip.
Yeah, Jack Kelly was taken down as he tried to go down that right side. And the Bears will go man up for the third time tonight. 0-for-2 thus far.
Yep.
Law of averages tell you that a Brown goal is probably coming up here with the extra man.
Well, this will be the first time Brown should have a 60-second man up. We'll see what the call is. Now they're only going to give it a hold. So 30-second hold, not a 60-second trip, and that's okay. We could have seen it go either way. And the foul goes against Zach Lanoux.
Yeah, Lanoux, the senior out of Durham, New Hampshire, will take a knee for 30 seconds. We'll see if the Bears can find a way to exploit the situation. Of course, McLean, number 3 in the nation, and man-up goals with 9.
Ogevin, Grell, who sees a lot of time as one of the man-up middies. Bears reverse it. They work it clockwise. King, Grell, Ogevin to his left. Thought about reversing it, did Grell, and now Ogevin will reverse. Grell winds up and scores! Stepped into it with a man-up goal, and the Bear lead is back to 5.
Well, I felt that one was coming with the extra man, and there it was. George Grell with the step down from range, and that is going to be his 7th goal of the season. A big one for the Bears, and all of a sudden that lead looking a little bit better now at 11-6.
Grell, a little bit tougher goal for a couple reasons, Mike. We've seen a lot of midfielders play in this game, And George Grell hasn't gotten a ton of 6-on-6 run.
No, he hasn't. So coming just fresh in off the bench and able to deliver there. Big moment there for George Grell and the Bears. And Coach Pressler is going to call timeout for Bryant and try to reset things as he feels this one perhaps starting to just slip away.
Well, we talked about the Bears switching gears at times during the season as not just within the season after that Princeton game and going through the gauntlet that was Penn, Yale, Cornell, heading into this one. The reality was the Bears were backs against the wall. And, you know, this game, a little different. Now the Bears look ahead after this game. We were worried they might look ahead to Dartmouth already. That does not seem to be the case, nor does it seem like Bryant has looked past Brown at the NEC tournament. So when you look, Mike, I think at what this is for Brown, my opinion, a real confidence booster when you think about the number of players who have gotten run and played well. I mean, we've not called names like Witt. We've called names like Valentini here and there, but, you know, guys like Behrens are seeing more minutes than, say, maybe a Wolfram, a Sweeney, or a Pike.
Well, you know, one thing that Coach Daly did talk to us about at the beginning of the season was the depth on this team. People might not realize it at first glance, but it's really kind of proven itself over the course of this season as, you know, guys have gone injured. We haven't even talked about Darian Cook, who's been out since the Penn game. And, you know, the job that a guy like Trevor Glavin stepped in, and he's eaten up a lot of those minutes left behind by Cook. He has stepped up and had some nice plays. We talked about on the defensive end, Newsom's been kind of in and out of the lineup at times, but guys like Witt and other pulls out there getting the job done as well. But now they're going to have to find a way to finish this one off, as that one might have been swept away by Terrio, but either way, it will stay with the Bulldogs.
And there are a few Bears who have been dinged up as the season has gone on. Guys that have seen run at different times. You know, we haven't seen as much sometimes of Hart tonight. We haven't seen Hurts as often. We've seen more of Enschel a little bit here today, I think, as a matchup for Bryant that they have struggled with, including his goal. The ball comes whipping around. O'Rourke behind the net for McGovern. Comes back up top. The wind-up, the shot is, well, they'll say it was tipped wide by the goaltender.
Well, and you got to think it's a pretty quick turnaround from Saturday's game at Cornell. It's a long trip up and back to Ithaca.
It is
the guys logging those bus miles on their legs, and, you know, a lot of guys playing a lot of time in that one as well, as that one is knocked aside by the defense.
At Cornell, about as long a trip as you get in the Ivy League from Brown. I mean, usually about 6, maybe 7 hours. Princeton can be that long as well. Tough pass. Abladian trying to hot foot after it, being harassed by Wolfram. Ball comes back over the top. The shot turned wide.
Well, they're going to say Terrio got a piece of it. They reset the shot clock back up to 60.
Yeah.
And that'll be the first save of the half for Connor Terrio.
Five minutes and change left here in the quarter. Abladian watched by Wolfram back up top. Another drive and another save. Picked up, that time on the Hackett run, and now out ahead it comes. Here's Enschel in transition. Plays it over for TYK, and he'll put on the brakes and wait for reinforcements. Enschel heading back onto the field. A little fake move. Back in front, Antonelli wanted to shoot it, didn't quite have it in his cross. Ball down, picked up by Brody Rule, and here comes Bryant. Rule's shot handled by Terrio. He'll quickly go back across midfield. Antonelli has McLean, Yeboah Cody, and Glavin. Glavin will fire it in and score!
Great patience there by Glavin, waiting to see how it would develop. The defense sagged off him just enough. With his hands completely free, you know what he's going to do. He rips it right into the back of the net for his second goal of the game. 4th of the season. There is the patience there. Defender doesn't go to him. He says, thank you very much, I'll take that. And the Bears have the Bulldogs doubled up. And that one coming at 10:41 of the third quarter. So after the Bulldogs had one fairly early, back at 3:50 of this quarter, the Bears have struck for the last 4 and have really started to generate some separation. It's going to be another face-off win as Colin Hart able to get to the loose ball off the wing.
Well, you got to wonder if that's one of the adjustments Brown has made here, Mike, with the face-offs. Gunty hasn't been trying to win them all cleanly. We've seen Enschel, Pike, and now Hart all come up with ground ball pickups as Pike fires it home and scores! And sometimes, Mike, you love to see those short stick middies who do the dirty work on those wings of the face-offs and defensively pick up finishes.
Well, that's the third goal by a member of the face-off unit today. The second one for Pike. We saw Enschel get one as well. Huge moment, another juice goal, a different variety of juice this time, perhaps pineapple. But whatever it is, the Bears fully in charge now, 13-6.
Pineapple juice, huh?
It's different.
I was always a tomato juice guy. You want to talk different. Little hot pepper, a little Tabasco.
A little something off sometimes.
You know where I'm going. Maybe a celery stalk. Put that fire out. Here we go, another face-off. And that one knocked down. Lanoux will scoop up the ground ball this time for Bryant. As the Bulldogs will go to work. Hart dislodges the ball. It'll be, oh boy. Sweeney was lining up O'Rourke for about 20 yards.
He wanted to send O'Rourke through this building.
Yeah, that was.
Just missed.
O'Rourke did a good job of moving.
He's shifty, as I said at the beginning of this one. He
might
knows how to avoid those hits.
In hockey, that would have been charging. He took about 20 running strides. Inside position, one-handed shot attempt, and there's going to be a foul called on the Bears. We'll see if we get another look.
Brown staff's not going to like it. I can't say that I blame them. I'm trying to figure out what the foul was actually for. I can't wait to get a look at this. Because Abladian went on the inside. Three guys around him. He kind of had it one-handed on his stick and just jumped up and tried to fling it.
They call a foul on Gatos, but in my estimation, it looked like he was completely out of control, and Gatos just went for the ball.
Yeah, let's take another look here. So they get it inside feed for Abladian. He's going to jump up. Guys all over him.
What's the call on Gatos?
Yeah, that's spotty at best.
Cross-check is the call on Gatos.
Debatable. Either way, it goes on the board as a minute penalty and a chance for Bryant to get one with the extra man.
Fans counting out the passing here for the Bulldogs. They are prone to do. Gotos, Goforth, with Gatos in the penalty area. A shot saved again by Terrio. Saves have come in bunches for the Brown goaltender as he makes another one. Wolfram will pass to Pike.
People's goalie giving the fans what they want. Gobbles it up for his 15th save of the night.
Pike dishes. And now Glavin will back off on the far side of the box and walk off what will likely be the final now 10 seconds of the Gatos foul. 13-6. The Bears have now doubled up Bryant after the Bulldogs had climbed within two twice, 7-5 and 8-6.
Yeah, it was 8-6 in this quarter for a bit, and the Bears offense took charge once again. The third quarter has been one of the Bears' better quarters on the season.
Moschetti turns, felt the double come. Ogevin for King. King turns, spins, got his hands up, wants the shot, doesn't have it, under 30 to shoot. Pass to Ogevin, gets inside, lost the handle. A nice defensive play, and there'll be a crease violation called on the Bears. It was really, I think, a nice defensive play by Cole Garvey of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they were able to dislodge the ball from Ogevin just as he was getting set to release, and he took that tumble right through the front of the crease. Easy call for the officials.
Alexander back for the goaltender, Caracciolo. Going to run it across midfield himself. He's still going. Here comes the goaltender, Caracciolo. Slides, lost the handle. And now the goaltender, Terrio, has the ball. An empty net for Brown, but they're going to settle back.
Yeah, no need to take that chance right now if you're Brown. You got a good lead. Take control of the ball, get it across in time. And it's Caracciolo going for it all that time. Saw the opening, no one was stepping to him, said why not? Because you imagine the energy that could bring to a team to see your netminder go up and score, but Bears able to collapse just in time and knock that stick free.
My freshman year, I remember Greg Catrano had three. Had three in the 97 season. He was not afraid to take off.
Oh, he is one of the most exciting goaltenders we've seen play here.
And that's
tell you, in a very good intramural soccer goalie, I could attest myself.
Played against or played with?
Played with. He was coming out of practice one night. We were short a player. He said, hey, you need someone to step in. I didn't even know who he was at the time. I was just a freshman. And, he stepped in and played awesome, as expected.
As you would expect. You mean these Division I athletes are just sometimes good athletes, right?
Just a good guy, too. Nice guy.
Yes, he really was. King for Ogevin. Driven wide.
And Ogevin continues to fire away here tonight. That is his 6th shot of the game.
Caracciolo got a piece of it. It resets the shot clock, but will bring us to about 5 seconds left in the quarter. See what the Bears can do with it. See who they try and load up. DJ Pearson will watch Ogevin, whose hands are perhaps the most dangerous up there. Gets a step, works his way in, and off the side of the net.
So
what
close.
A dagger that would have been. If the Bears had finished that would have ended the quarter with an exclamation point. Instead, the Bears will have to be satisfied with a 7-goal lead heading into the fourth.
Yeah, 6 goals in that third quarter. Just a huge run there by the Brown attack. We'll see if they can finish things off in quarter number 4 when we return.
The rain continues to fall. We'll step aside. Fourth quarter on the other side of this timeout. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
Doctors at University Orthopedics have been caring for the people of southeastern New England for more than 40 years. With the Warren Alpert Medical School of Brown University, we train the next generation of orthopedic surgeons. Our state-of-the-art facilities stretch from Westerly to Mansfield. At our East Bay Surgery Center, we've performed thousands of surgeries, including same-day total joint replacements. We've grown through the years, but our goal has always been getting you back to doing what you love to do. The best orthopedic care anywhere is right here. University Orthopedics.
From corporate events to weddings by the bay to private celebrations, the Pronzi name means elegance, personalized service, and exacting attention to detail. Pronzi has everything you need in one place. Event planning, catering, tents, tables and chairs, decor, and so much more. Call Pronzi today and let them plan your next event. Why go anywhere else?
If you speak the language of bosons and quarks, of nanoengineering, Wordsworth, or hip-hop, then look no further than Brown University. If you want to work side by side with extraordinary faculty, to choose from 78 academic majors across the spectrum, or to follow a major of your own design, then expect some of the brightest young minds from around the world to surround and engage you at Brown University. Take it from me. I'm John Krasinski, class of 2001.
Well, here we go for the fourth quarter for our entire outstanding ESPN team. My broadcast partner, Mike Mancuso. My name is Mike Rubin. It's great to have you on board with us. Got to really argue, Mike, that the star of the show tonight, you could say it's Brown's attack with the 13 goals on 21 shots on net. But you could also make an argument for, once again, Connor Terrio. I'll tell you, he's got goaltending lines in his bloodlines. You know, his grandfather was a goaltender at Wesleyan, and his father, a longtime lacrosse coach at Keene State, and kid can just play.
Yeah, kid let out play and is not disappointing at all here again tonight. 15 saves already on the evening, coming off that 24-save performance that earned him Ivy League Player and Rookie of the Week honors and U.S. Lacrosse Magazine Player of the Week honors as well, as the Bears have been charging up through the national rankings, currently sitting at 5th in the Inside Lacrosse Media poll.
10 different goal scorers for Brown today. Ball comes back up and over the top, and hands free. Grip it and rip it. Aiden Goltz, the sophomore from Newport Beach, California, gets one back for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, second of the day, 17th of the season for Goltz. And it took him just 36 seconds to get on the board and this quarter. And here's where it's going to get interesting, Mike, because if Bryant could start winning these faceoffs and getting quick goals, as we saw, they're very capable. They had 3 and 49 seconds back at the end of the second quarter, which got them to a good spot heading into the third. But now we'll see how the Bears adjust. In fact, they will throw. Well, we're going to have another violation. This time it's going to go against Bryant.
It was Gunty on the faceoff again. The Bears with Yeboah Cody now Ogevin, Moschetti, and it looks like Griffin King will wait to join the fray. Bears leading by 6. They do not tend to take the foot off the accelerator, as here comes King trying to work his way in on Keaton Jones.
Well, when you have a team like Bryant that can put up goals in bunches, you can't really afford to take your foot off the accelerator, as that one gets whipped wide of everything by Ogevin.
Protect that scoreboard. Whatever you do, protect the video board in the corner.
Might have to put up additional netting in front of it.
Moschetti wants to wind up. He wants it himself. There came the double. Good closeout by the Bulldogs. Spin dodge. Back up over the top. It comes to Ogevin. He wants to get it on the run and fires it wide. Glavin there to back it up with 35 on the shot clock.
Yeah, Ogevin keeps looking at the officials saying that he keeps getting whacked in the head when he's making that dodge. And
it's because he does.
Probably has a good case there.
30 seconds left on the shot clock. Pass for Ogevin. Bounces across. Ogevin being defended by LeJean Jones. The feed on the inside. Antonelli whips it wide. McLean backing up.
Tricky little shot there from Antonelli. He was able to get just free enough from Drew Lucas. But the Bears running out of time on this possession.
Down to 15. McLean trying to spin his way in on Rule. Feeds it in front. It's going to bounce out to midfield. And the Bulldogs will take over. Here comes Hart, and the midfielders will change. Abladian to the corner for Logan McGovern. Gatos chasing McGovern. Back over for Galtz, who had that nifty goal to start the quarter. And over to Hackett. Really, O'Rourke has been quiet. Just the one goal on 4 shots on net. A couple ground balls to his credit as well. Good screen set there by Greninger. And now it comes back around for Hackett. Being followed by Newsom, who alters the pass. Ball taken by Hart, who releases Abladian. Almost came away with a hold, but
very close.
Very close. But released, I think, that stick just in time. And was it picked off by Gepper?
Well,
no.
Nice. Good deflection, though, as Gepper just stepping right in front of O'Rourke. And in some ways, that's better because still keeps that shot clock getting lower and lower here. The game clock as well. Already almost 3 minutes gone by in the fourth.
McGovern from X for McGovern. McGovern for O'Rourke. I'm sorry, for Greninger. Comes back around. Inside feed. O'Rourke shot wide. And McGovern there to back it up with just 13 on the shot clock.
Yeah, that's tough once he's already that past the center of the field, shooting across his body. His momentum carrying him the other way.
Good feed from X, and the finish for O'Rourke. Hands free on the run, no closeout. That's the trifecta for a guy like O'Rourke.
Yeah, that's the shot he wants there. That's his bread and butter. Second of the game for Mark O'Rourke. 41st of the season, and the Bulldogs are ready with a little bit of a run here to start this fourth quarter. Don't go away, folks. Cardiac Dogs back at it again. That one at 3:08. Sets up another key face-off here as Bryant creeping closer and closer. Now cutting the lead down to 5. A little bit more efficient here. Gunty in a big scrum there, able to break free.
Gunty shot saved by Caracciolo, and the Bulldogs quickly on the ground ball, and here comes Alexander.
Yeah, Gunty playing whack-a-mole there, just taking shot after shot at Tanner Alexander. And the Bulldogs still able to successfully clear. O'Rourke, little heat check there from the outside, sends it wide of the net.
Down to 11 minutes and change left. A good look for Abladian, who had the hot stick, particularly in that second quarter, where he had the natural hat trick, and then had a fourth he added in the third quarter.
Yeah, those 3 in the second and 49-second span.
I think that's about as quick a natural hat trick as we will ever see. Goal line extended, the cutback, McGovern, good feed, hands free, tried to get a shot off to Droin, but able to take it away is Geppert. And here come the Bears in transition with Behrens on the run. Behrens working his way in, fires a shot wide, and did he get a stick in? Yes, he did. Drew Lucas, the native of Peabody, Massachusetts. My mom's alma mater, Peabody Veterans Memorial.
The Bears, though, squandering a couple of chances on the offensive end, not taking much time off the clock either. Now Bryant again back in business in the offensive end, trying to reset their 6-on-6.
McGovern for Abladian. GLE back behind the net at X. McGovern the feed, the tick-tock passing finds its way to Hackett. And Bryant back within 4. The Bulldogs not going to go away, Mike.
No, we've been saying it all night. No quit in these dogs. Hackett makes it 13-9. The Bulldogs with 3 straight goals to open the quarter. A fourth quarter that has been the Bears' toughest from an offensive standpoint over the course of this season. Just 27 of their goals coming in the final frame, as Hackett picks up goal number 14 on the year for himself. And another face-off win gives the possession right back to Bryant. Alexander, though, is going to lose the handle. Great defensive work there. Enchill able to come away with it.
Maybe the best we've seen him play this season, I think, for sure, as it comes back up top to Trevor Yeboah Cody.
Bears need a goal here just to kind of reestablish themselves as the top team on the field right now tonight.
60 on the shot clock. Gendron, Kelly, Ogevin, the midfielders. Gendron on the move. Wants the shot. Fires it wide. Glavin backing it up. Not a bad decision there.
Yeah, found some space in the middle of the field as one of the Bulldogs a little slow to get up. It's Drew Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas lost his helmet and he reattaches.
Yeah, got kind of run over by the big fella. Colby Gendron at the end of that play.
Glavin, McLean, Antonelli, and of course Kelly, Ogevin, and Gendron. Gendron out towards midfield with the ball being chased by Lanoux. He has about 8 inches on Lanoux. Drives a shot himself. It was blocked. I think Lanoux actually got a piece of it. And here come the Bulldogs trying to clear. They'll whip it across the field for Alexander on the run. He'll come to the near wing for Aiden Galtz. Galtz being pushed out of bounds. What a play by Kelly defensively.
Yeah, Kelly getting back in transition there on the ride, able to shove him out of bounds. Huge play there for the Bears.
And denies a clean clear. Bulldogs now just 15 of 20 on their clears. And that's an important turnover. If you're a Brown fan, it's Bryant's 18th giveaway of the day. Brown's 9th caused turnover.
Clearing has been an issue for the Bulldogs. 60th in the nation at just 82% on the season.
Have played a Ivy opponent already. Lost to Dartmouth earlier this season. Ogevin, the shot from Antonelli. Wide open. In the slot goes top shelf. And the Bears lead is back up to 5. That's a great feed by Ogevin, an unselfish play.
Yeah, really unselfish. And the 28th goal of the season for Brian Antonelli. Steps right into the kill zone here. You look at all the attention Ogevin draws. 3 black jerseys converge on him, leaving Antonelli with the lethal finish right in front. And a big goal for the Bears, putting them back up by 5 at 6:19 of the fourth quarter. And we're going to have a violation against
the Bears, it looks
like.
like.
It's a face-off one, so, yep, it's going to be the third
of the quarter
on Matt Gunty. So he'll take a knee. 32nd man-up opportunity here for the Bulldogs.
Penalty number 48, Matthew Gunty, 30 seconds for delay of the game.
So delay a game, the call. 32nd man up for Bryant, who's...
Well, it does give up the man up, but also the Bears able to get settled back defensively, even though they're down a man here. We'll see what Bryant can do. 0 for 3 so far with the extra attacker.
Gatos, Newsom, Wolfram, Geppert, and Hart. A wind-up and a save. Your best penalty killer, Mike? Your goaltender.
Yep, Terrio just reading that one well, keeping it high. And now we'll see if the Bears can clear it ahead, down a man. as the final 5 seconds tick off of the Gunty delay a game penalty.
Pike will, in fact, do so, has Ogevin behind him. And now the Bulldogs may have to extend their defense a little bit, trailing by 5 with 8 minutes to go. Pike in the corner, waiting for the midfielders to get sorted out. They've got King and Ogevin on, and now Pike will head off in favor of Reed Moschetti. Moschetti yet to find the...
Well, he had that one. I think he got credit for the one that deflected off Alexander.
That's right, yep. Tried to get his hands up there from the angle. Shot saved on the Glavin rip. Rebound scooped up by King, and the Bears reset with a fresh 60. Nice
tight
save.
Yeah, tight angle. Excellent save there by Caracciolo. They certainly needed that one. Bulldogs just couldn't get to the loose ball off the rebound.
They did a good job of holding the pipe. Didn't give a lot of a seam. King for Moschetti. Steps into it and bounces it in. Nothing Caracciolo could do about that one, and Brown's lead is back up to 6.
That is just absolutely filthy from Reed Moschetti. Up high from range, the high bouncer. And watch the release point on this replay from Reed Moschetti. Nothing Caracciolo could do. Has it way high and bang. The bounce on that one off the wet turf, just pure filth there from Reed Moschetti. And the Bears go back up by 6.
2 goals and an assist for Moschetti, and the Bears lead is up to 6. Timeout on the field. We'll take 1-2. Crunch time on the other side of this timeout. We'll be back with the final minutes of this one. Bears looking to take home a trophy. We'll be right back. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.
Doctors at University Orthopedics have been caring for the people of southeastern New England for more than 40 years. With the Warren Alpert Medical School of Brown University, we train the next generation of orthopedic surgeons. Our state-of-the-art facilities stretch from Westerly to Mansfield. At our East Bay Surgery Center, we've performed thousands of surgeries, including same-day total joint replacements. We've grown through the years, but our goal has always been getting you back to doing what you love to do. The best orthopedic care anywhere is right here. University Orthopedics.
From corporate events to weddings by the bay to private celebrations, the Pronzi name means elegance, personalized service, and exacting attention to detail. Pronzi has everything you need in one place. Event planning, catering, tents, tables and chairs, decor, and so much more. Call Pronzi today and let them plan your next event. Why go anywhere else?
If you speak the language of bosons and quarks, of nano-engineering, Wordsworth, or hip-hop, then look no further than Brown University. If you want to work side by side with extraordinary faculty, to choose from 78 academic majors across the spectrum, or to follow a major of your own design, then expect some of the brightest young minds from around the world to surround and engage you at Brown University. Take it from me. I'm John Krasinski, class of 2001.
Brown attack springing to life. They got the last couple in this one, Antonelli and Moschetti, to take the lead back to 6. Bryant winning its 16th faceoff of the day. And almost on cue, Connor Terrio has picked up save number 18. 17. I thought that I was ahead of one there.
Either way, Terrio has delivered as promised. Figured he'd need probably about 15 saves or so just based on the pure volume that we knew Bryant was going to fire at him today. And he has played admirably. Again, it's just given up the 9. And a lot of those right on the doorstep where no goalie is going to have any chance.
Certainly making a case for Ivy League Rookie of the Year is Terrio. It's a pretty good crop of first and, well, I guess first-year players that are first and second years, freshmen and sophomores.
It'll be interesting to see what they qualify as Rookies of the Year. I guess all freshmen and sophomores
would
be eligible.
He's been Rookie of the Week a couple times, so I would assume,
absolutely.
Ogevin being watched by Jones. Back up for Moschetti, who had that nifty bounce shot. Gets it to King, spins back to his right. Down to 20 on the shot clock as the Bears are certainly working the clock down. GLE to X. Back up top, Ogevin steps in, has some room on the run, saved by Caracciolo.
Wow, I think he almost threw that through the stick of Caracciolo. He had so much heat on that one, but again, Caracciolo in good position there to make that stop.
O'Rourke chased by Geppert. Dishes it across, Abladian tries to bull his way in. Gatos wins the physical battle and forces him back, and Bryant will have to reset.
Yeah, well done by the Brown defense. Not only to turn O'Rourke aside, but also to turn Abladian aside as well, as Bryant had to reset as they go to Hackett now.
Hackett had a nice goal in this quarter as well. Back up top, they find Galtz, who's been a pest from the midfield, but this time he's again saved, and that will be the 18th save of the day for Theriault.
Yeah, Galtz trying to tag that upper left corner, but Theriault saying, not so fast, my friend. As we dip around 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
A tough pass. Theriault will hot foot after it.
Well, time is going to be the bigger issue now as Theriault heaves it ahead.
Intercepted, empty net situation. The ball played across, turn, shot, and saved by Theriault. Got himself back in position, and there is save number 19.
Oh, you just got to love the people's goalie, Mike. He makes things interesting at times, but he gets the job done in the end.
So here's the question, Mike. I would have to say the last time we saw a Brown Bear goaltender with 20-plus saves in consecutive games. What do you think?
Ooh, was it Phil Goss maybe?
I don't know if Goss ever would it be Goss, Kelly,
Kelly,
or Jordan Burke.
Ooh,
We've seen some good ones. Matt Chris. We've seen some good ones.
We certainly have.
A drive and a finish and a score as Jack Kelly gets into the scoring party. His first goal of the night, and the Bears lead us up to 7.
Well, speaking of guys named Jack Kelly, another one not to be forgotten is the sophomore from Indiana. Goal number 4 on the season for him, and gives the Bears a little bit more insurance now as we head down the stretch of the Ocean State Cup final.
I don't know if Jack Kelly would have ever seen that volume of shots is the thing. You know, those last couple of years when he was the goalie.
That's true.
Brown was on offense an awful lot.
This is true.
And that's not to say that
the
Bears
I'm thinking the Phil Goss era, maybe.
I'm going to go with Jordan Burke.
We'll have to get that number for you by the next game when the Bears host Dartmouth on Saturday for the regular season finale, and
we've got
a chance to clinch a share of the Ivy League title.
Well, we've got a crack research team. I'm sure will be working hard at that to see when the last time a Brown goaltender had 20 or more saves, although
well, Theriault needs one more tonight.
He still only has 19 today. And there's only 3.5 minutes left, so.
Well, what's the over-under on behind-the-back passes, though, from Theriault? We saw him have a brilliant one in that game up in Ithaca against Cornell.
We already had one behind
One of my favorite plays of the year. Theriault behind the back, behind his own net to his defender.
Gendron bounces one wide, backed up by McLean. Again, the Bears could not only clinch an Ivy League title in the regular season in what has been what some people have termed one of the best leagues in recent memory, best Ivy League schedules in recent memory. You have 6 teams of the 7 that have been ranked in the top 20 at any given moment this season, a 7th that has received votes.
When you have a 5-way tie for first heading into the final weekend, you know there's some good parity in the league and some quality teams.
But we've seen parity because the league hasn't been, it's been a one-bid league. This is not a one-big league.
Right, and it's what they've done in the non-conference, as well. And now, the big question, people are saying, can the Ivy League get 6 teams into the tournament? It's possible.
Penn is done with their Ivy schedule. They play Albany this weekend.
Well, Penn's in some trouble right now as they are losing to St. Joe's.
Yeah, that would
so that would probably knock them out of consideration unless they somehow get into and then win the Ivy League. Although it's 12-11 now, St. Joe's, so don't call it a comeback quite yet.
Well, I think, there's also the reality of, as Abladian turns, there's also the reality of the fact that the other leagues are not, as that was chopped away, and that's a tough one to go against the Bears. The Bears don't like it. The coaching staff doesn't like it. The fans don't like it. The Bulldogs will go man up.
I'll be curious to see what they're going to call it. They're saying a trip, apparently.
So the reality is there are some other power conferences. You look at the Big East. The Big East is known Georgetown. They're an absolute. But after that, unless somebody else wins the tournament, Denver's on the bubble.
They're not on the bubble. They're off the bubble unless they win.
Unless they win it, right. Right, that's what I mean.
You look at a team that's going to be very curious to see what it's like. A team like Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yes.
They've been playing some of their best ball as of late. However, that kind of stretch in the beginning to middle portion of the season could really hurt them in the end.
North Carolina's been struggling lately.
Yeah, Carolina's basically played themselves out of the tournament.
Unless they win the ACC. And, again, those teams that we've been talking about, the Denvers, the Villanovas, they could win their conference. That's not a stretch, but that might be the only way for some of these programs, these conferences, to get multiple bids.
Yeah, there's a tough break there for the Bulldogs with the man up. With 33 seconds left with the extra man, they throw it away. And now the Bears, 16-second differential between the two clocks, can essentially kill off most of this one with this possession.
Newsom ahead for Wolfram. He'll come back to Pike. And then there are a whole host of, one bid leagues that are typically one bid leagues. So it's going to be curious. I'll be really interested to see what happens with all these postseasons.
Well, I just can't wait to see what happens on Saturday. I think we're going to be in for a treat in a whole bunch of games across the country. Now is when the games really matter.
And that's what you want, right? You want to be playing games in late April, early May that count.
Absolutely. So the Bears now a minute away from taking back the Ocean State Cup. The Bulldogs had it last season. Of course, the Bears didn't get to play for it, but Bryant won by virtue of their win over Providence last year.
And I think they had won it the year before as well.
There wasn't one in 2020.
I meant 2019.
2019. Well, no, because
did Bryant beat?
Because that's when the Bears won. And the Bears had defeated.
Did Providence win?
So Providence might have won that year.
Yes.
Either way, the Bears will take it home tonight. Good, strong showing. Another fantastic first quarter that really set the tone for this one. Bulldogs, they're scrappy. They're going to fight back, and they did. Got it to within 8-6 in the third quarter, but then the Bears just took control again. As a shot clock violation there for the final couple of seconds.
Tyler Blackburn, Isaac Sachs will get some run here for the Bears.
Oh, boy.
And the Bulldogs throw it away.
Yeah, that pole-to-pole movement across the field, and now the Bears will just hold for the final 8.5.
Yeah, Porter Holland, Brandon Bergner, the Bears emptying the bench a little bit here as the final seconds will tick off, and the Bears will win a trophy and set themselves up to win a ring on Saturday against Dartmouth, with a 16-9 win behind 19 saves. Connor Terrio, you'd have to argue he's one of the men of the match, as the Bears also had 11 different goal scorers.
Yeah, 2 each from Moschetti, Glavin, McLean, Pike, and Antonelli. And then an additional 1 from Jack Kelly, Griffin King, George Grell, Adrian Inchel, and Nolan Rockefeller to complete the scoring for the Bears, who take down Bryant 16-9.
One order of business for us, Mike, our Bay Coast Bank play of the game. And, well, I'm not sure if we'll get it loaded up here in a second, but if you want, folks, go back and watch Devin McLean's. Yeah, here it comes. Devin McLean.
Yeah, for my money, this is the one that has to be at the Bay Coast Bank play of the game. Devin McLean, this was back in the first quarter. I believe it was the Bears' 4th goal of the night.
Oh, here it comes, yep.
As he's going to stand out there on the right side. Feed comes across from Kelly and zing! Zips it right past Caracciolo. The B2B. Beautiful behind the back goal. Caracciolo with no chance there. Just a thing of beauty for Devin McLean and the Bears.
So we'll get back here with you all on Saturday afternoon as the Bears, under the lights behind 19 saves from that young man, will take a 16-9 win over the Bryant Bulldogs, and the Ocean State Cup will return to the east side of Providence. For our entire ESPN team and my broadcast partner, Mike Mancuso, my name is Mike Rubin saying so long from the east side of Providence and Stevenson-Pinsent Field. In the rain, the Bears with a 16-9 victory over Bryant. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great night.